Peace unto you, peace unto you. Welcome. Welcome to another sacred service. Peace unto you. Welcome to another sacred service. We're very grateful to return. Took a weekend, a few days off to journey, and now we're back with some sacred spiritual remembrance for all of us to integrate moving forward. We call this the Epic of Earth. Very, very grateful to present such information. The Epic of Earth. Similar to, many stories of ancient times, like, the Epic of Gilgamesh or any other epic. Epic is simply like a well elaborated story in like a poetic form. And right now we're speaking about Earth. It's extremely important. We typically go live every Friday and Sunday, but because of my schedule changing and a lot of things is happening in my own life, so I know it's reflected in your life. Your life definitely has many, many experiences that haven't been foreseen popping up in a very apparent sense. Due to this, understand that everybody in this time now that's living on Earth or living in neighboring dimensions or even our Pleiadian brothers, all of us are experiencing a time where a giant pulling together is happening. You can look across any form of, ancient times, ancient tablets. They always display a natural disaster taking things away. But what people don't understand is if you go deeper into the studies, there's always this coming together. See, in native culture, the native traditions, they would see the circle as something of importance. My husky wants to go outside. You want to go outside, buddy? Come on. So in native culture, the elders would always speak of a time where great change will happen. And that great change, depending on the frequency of the planet at any particular day or given, consciousness, it can either be, the colonizer energy that we experienced, or it will be something of unification. Well, what the elders understood is anytime you experience a mass amount of energetic force in one particular direction, to those who still subscribe to direction, you always understand that there is a equal force in another direction. And even science tells us this. Whatever you bring forth in the swing this way, when it hits that ball or that force, that energy over here on the left side is going to come back and hit the right side as strong as the right side initially hit the left side, or vice versa if the left was the first strike. So now, after we've been through these giant wars, it was this time of coming together. And in native cultures, they would call it the prophecies of the rainbow, warriors of the rainbow. Well, if you look at today's time, you see the rainbow. Yes, the prophecies of the rainbow came true, but the mass manipulation of what the actual foundation of what the rainbow frequencies are has been manipulated. You can just look in the most apparent sense, logically, and just see that, in ancient times, the rainbow ways or the warriors of the rainbow were the holy ones. It would be considered as the holy ones. Back when Yeshua, A.K.A. Jesus, would travel, because remember that being traveled, at that particular time period, any particular time period that is not of technology, anytime you have a figure or an archetype of something known in a very mass sense, that means that a lot of word of mouth has been in the forefront, or that person or an archetype or group of people have been traveling logically, you cannot be known around the world if you weren't popular, or if you yourself or your group of people didn't travel. So Yeshua, aka Jesus, traveled along with every other master that is known worldwide. They traveled. Not even just physically. There are many stories of ancient traditions. You have the native cultures that talk about astral projecting, how they didn't have cell phones. And this is what people must understand about today's time. This coming together is a releasing of things that are outside of ourselves, technology specifically. When you experience great cataclysms and you experience giant natural disasters, yes, that's in the prophecies, but as we said, what's also in the prophecies is the coming together, where you don't get the coming of all in unison until go lay down. Until you experience going within. So what people must get out of the idea of is that technology is the end all be all, for it's technology that brought forth the destruction of Mars, the Anunnaki, that brought forth the destruction of many, many planets that we can see. Science even proves that something has happened. Science always goes into these planets and goes into, these ancient times of the ancient writings, and they say across the board. See, what we must understand as it pertains to integrating this information is, let's find out what information is across the board, and then we'll go from there. Well, across the board, there's always a natural disaster. Well, a natural disaster is always tied to somebody's ego or a group of people's ego. In every culture, in every ancient tradition, there's a group of beings, whether intelligent or not, that somehow stumbled upon a way of existing. And because they stumbled upon this way of existing, whether intelligent or not, they tend to get more power hungry because of it. And from that power hunger comes wars. And when you war enough, the earth reacts. That is across the board. Go to the Epic of Gilgamesh. Go to the native cultures. Go to, even if you want to get esoteric, go to the Anunnaki. Go to the galactic wars. Go to the Sirius wars. Go if you want to get into physicality history, or you want to get into esoteric history. There is somehow, some way, war involved, and when war is involved, it destabilizes everything. That should let you know that this coming together that many prophesize, and let's come back into a more integrated sense, something that's more tangible for people. Let's not get too esoteric just yet. This coming together is when we all understand that going within serves far more than what people may realize. We have to get out of this idea that technology is the end-all be-all. Someone said, hey, it's almost 9 a.m., time to work. Yes, this is called light work. Now, technology is not the end-all be-all. There are beings that understand in all cultures, from ancient times to even today, that you don't even need cell phones to communicate with one another. Some people ask, well, how did certain cultures communicate with one another when they were traveling, or when you would send your hunters out in native traditions? When you would send your hunters out, or you would send your gatherers out, or you would send people to go to neighboring villages to decipher some information or exchange some messages, how did they communicate? Well, astral projection is one way you can communicate to many beings. Yeshua astral projected with his disciples to communicate. And when you start studying, Moses, Yeshua, you have Krishna, you have Yogananda, you even have Anunnaki, you have many beings in the astral realms. You have the Pleiadians, because the Pleiadians are like our brothers. They're the neighboring planet to us, or neighboring dimension, as some say. So if you wanted to connect to more esoteric-like beings, Pleiadians are an easy way to go to as a starting out point, because they're very, very close to us. especially genetically, they're very, very similar genetically to us. I remember when I astral projected one day, a portal opened up in my room and Pleiadians came through. And I guess there was a parallel life of me that was like a king over there in Pleiades. The king thing that doesn't exist there, but for human transcription, we'll just use that terminology. I was very well respected. Of course, that information, that life is not known in a widespread way in my own mind in this vessel because it serves not. I'm not in the Pleiades, but they came through and they essentially needed my assistance to birth the first Pleiadian baby in such a way that humans birth their babies. It was a little different though. We used a machine to extract the baby in this bubble, but Pleiadians genetically, they're very similar. You can just see the evolution. But what we must anchor is that there are many, many ways to communicate. Astral projecting is one of them. You can communicate through astral projecting to a specific point, a specific frequency that is close to your own or your own dimension's frequency. And when you do that, you can set up shop, essentially. Like, you know how they have moon bases and stuff. You can set up bases. And I mean, people that are very, very good at visualization, people that are extremely good at visualization, they understand that when you visualize in the astral realms long enough, or even in the etheric realms, it's easier to visualize in the etheric realms and create things because the etheric realms is completely a thought. This realm, etheric realms, simply is just a realm of thought. When you visualize enough, you can literally set up a base there. However you want the buildings to look like, however you want the environment to look like. And if you hold that visualization, that environment, day in, day out for months, years, these masters have this sacred safe house in many dimensions. Years they hold it. Years they hold the visualization. 300 years, because it's even passed down through lineages. See, it's not even lucid dreaming. This is visualization in the astral realm. See, lucid dreaming is completely different. When you are communicating in the astral realms with other beings, what serves is to know that shape-shifting exists. So you want to put forth plans of safety so you're not being duped. And plans of safety is, I'm going to go into the astral realms. Let's say I go into, frequency 33 or whatever the frequency is. You go into this frequency. When you go into a frequency, you go into a specific dimension. When you go into a specific dimension, how do you even get to the frequency, Nadiie? Well, you have to exude a specific quality about yourself. Each quality or each form of idea or identity that you exude has a frequency aligned with it. Hate has a frequency, love has a frequency, peace has a frequency, ambition has a frequency, and you can identify with all of these things. When you bring forth this form of identity into the spirit realms, the astral realms, the etheric realms, the light realms, if you say, I am one of love, if you say, I am a Christ being, if you say, I am someone of Arcturian nature, if you say whatever your title is, if you say, I'm a Christian, if you say, I am someone who is of the Islam traditions, if you say any form of identity that has a frequency assigned to it, all identity has a frequency assigned to it. When you then go into the astral realms as a Christian, or as a person of Christ consciousness, or as a person who has ties to the Anunnaki, or as a person who has ties to Pleiadian, or as a person who is a light worker or a miracle worker, whatever your identity is, it has this frequency. You go into these dimensions based on your frequency. A person of hate is not allowed into the Christ conscious frequency. Not because there is some type of golden ticket or some type of person at a gate. It's simply because the laws of how things is what you are is what you experience. That's the law. There's no obstacle. That's why when some people say, oh, we are forced to incarnate. Oh, there are many beings out here that are, maleficent and all. No, it's you. And I've seen this countless times. When I go into the astral realms and I'm tasked with my, journeys and, traversing and experiencing what others see in the afterlife, when I go into the ashrams and I see, oh, it's us that is choosing to incarnate again, because they're seeing their life. When you go into the afterlife, what people must understand is not the spirit realms. This is just widespread information to those who astral project, but peace unto you. See, the afterlife is literally is just afterlife. It's a buffering dimension. You don't get into the spirit realms until you deprogram yourself back to your default state. See, I know this from experience, one, but then this information was molded in such a concrete form in my essence when one of my brothers, not friends, because we're all family, one of my brothers got shot. Gun violence. He got shot. He was young. 17. Done. Out of here. 2 days later, I'm in the astral realms, traversing. I get a call from one of my advisors, and they say, someone would like to meet you, but before y'all meet each other, we want to show you that he's okay. Because people crying on earth, and his family I'm friends with, I'm very close with, and they know I'm spiritual. They know I'm able to communicate to what they call the dead. They know I'm able to do these things. So they would ask me questions, so I would go out and I would adventure and figure it out. I went into this portal with this advisor of mine, and it was actually a group of people with us, because there was many other beings that got calls from their own advisors. We went into like this skybox. You know how in the sports game, like a basketball game, you got the big boxes, or like in the football games, or you got like the big boxes that you can sit in, like that's a seat, and you can see the entire game as if you was watching it on TV, but you're actually there. I was in this like box like place, and I was looking down. It was a playground, and it was spirits that has the form of people that we once knew, and they were playing. They were freeing up the energy that was dragging them down to incarnate on earth. They was deprogramming. They was coming back to their natural essence. And then I seen my brother there, freshly out of earth in this afterlife. Now, what people must understand what afterlife is, an afterlife essentially is, you know how when you play a game, how there's a loading screen before the real game shows up? You got your before the game, the lobby, you set everything up, set what you need up, and then you have the loading screen. The afterlife is the loading screen. In the loading screen, you get your hands ready, you massage your muscles, you get your eyes ready. That's how it is in all there is. Before you go into the ashrams after a particular life, you experience a lot of traumatic things in every life, not even just earth. And some things serve to be taken with you, and some things don't serve to be taken with you. Like war doesn't serve to be taken with you. That's why every single being that is of a light-based nature doesn't have war or hate in alignment with them. I remember I made a video that was titled, Satan Isn't Real. And we had people, so-called Christians, so-called people of their religions, even many religions, not even just Christianity. You have the Islam religion. You have even people with this ideologies of, them being the only type of people that existed at any particular time. You had those type of people there as well. And they were all defending a person that they claim, or a being that they claim, or an archetype that they claim as an enemy. And that was very fascinating to me. The reason that we say Satan isn't real, evil isn't real, these things aren't real, is because they're not. There's something called the source. And when you go into the spirit realms and you speak to ascended masters, they would mention the source. They don't use the term God, because God is a title, like Satan is a title. When you study this esoteric information, you will find that there are many Satans. You can be a Satan on earth. It's a title, or Satan, as some say. It's a title. And because of this title, because of the nature of this title, you would understand that this is a form of identity that someone has. But what we understand about the source is when you connect to the source, when you pray, I always ask people this. When you pray to the source, or what you would consider God, do you feel immense fear? Do you feel pains? Do you feel any of these things? More times than not, if you're not trolling, people will say, no, when I pray to God, I feel relief, I feel satisfaction, I feel love. If you don't feel fear, hate, paranoia when you pray to God, then that means it doesn't exist in God. For God gives you not those forms of energy. God does not give you pains, hurts, and paranoia. Well, if God, A.K.A. Source, is all there is, now it comes to us having to stand on what we believe in and transmuting that belief into knowingness. No longer believe, start knowing. If Source, A.K.A. God, only gives you these peace, this love, this prosperity, all there is, then how, if Source is your basis of truth, if Source is your foundation, how is any form of hate even having some type of power in your life? How is it even so? It's not. It's only a fictitious form of living here on earth. Because when you study an angel, and how do you study an angel, Nadiie? All you have to do is go to every single religion, or all the religions that you are aware of, study those, and just study the stories of when angels appeared. I'm giving you ways to research. And you can use these ways, and you can insert different forms of information to figure out how do you truly research esoteric information. Study angels. Go to the Christian religion, go to the Islam religion, go to the Muslim traditions, go to the European traditions before Christianity and all of that. Go to the forms of tradition of native culture, the indigenous traditions. You go to the Eastern traditions, the Buddhism and all of those. You go to those traditions and you see all the stories where angels were presented. And you will find that angels didn't doubt, angels didn't fear. Even when you try to bow to an angel, I know there's many Christian stories about when angels seen a person bowing to them, they stopped them and said, you don't bow to me. If anything, I bow to you. Why? Because when angels see us, they see the extension of Source. But remember, the way that humans operate, humans are sometimes so egotistical, they think everybody thinks and sees the same way they do. Angels, Arcturians, etheric beings, we all exist differently. And that's what we must anchor. Even on Earth, we see things differently. Even on Earth, we look differently. If we are different on Earth, why do you think we would be the same outside of Earth? That logically doesn't make sense. Remember, I like to make things make sense logically and spiritually. Yes, I'm esoteric. Yes, I astral project every day. Yes, I do miracles and all of that. But sometimes, if you can't explain something to a baby, you shouldn't be explaining it at all. And the easiest way to explain something to a child is make it make sense logically. And what we say is, the reason why angels don't doubt, etheric beings don't doubt, the reason why Yeshua in his stories, Yeshua, A.K.A. Jesus, would say, fear not, have no fear, have no doubts, all, be of this energy, peace unto you, Jeff, be of this energy, is because as above, so below. In order for you to exist in a high dimension, you have to be of that dimension. You have to have the same thoughts as one of that dimension. You have to have the same forms of actions as one in that dimension. That's the as above. Well, so below. If you are a businessman, you're never going to be a businessman if you don't save money. Peace unto you. Peace unto you. Grand rising, as they say. If you want to be a successful businessman, you have to learn how to save money. You have to learn how to, move your finances when, the times on earth is shifting in terms of its economy. You have to learn how to do all of these things. Well, if you understand this, Why wouldn't that same information apply as it pertains to heaven, Eden, or whatever you want to call it, paradise outside of earth? In order for you to be in heaven where the angels reside, be as an angel. If in order for you to be in heaven where ascended masters reside, be as an ascended master. It's so simple, yet humans want to make things so complicated. Humans feel like you need to have technology. It's always a technological type of thing. That's precisely one of the reasons the Anunnaki, that's precisely one of the reasons the Anunnaki failed. Their civilization, when you study, and this is not even getting into esoteric information just yet. You can go into ancient tablets, start studying ancient tablets, pull up all the ancient tablets, and look at the similarities. And what you will figure out is there is a civilized or a high energetic form of people or archetype of people. And eventually, because their ego got in the way because of wars and all of these things, and because of their integration with technology, there's many, many stories. People that refute are just people that don't go into, the ancient text. The ancient text is there for us to go to. You will never succeed as a race, as a form of existing. Humanity as a whole will not succeed if you don't look at the ancient past. Because that's our past. And figure out what they did right and what they did wrong. That is just logical. It's even like science. You don't see scientists today saying what Albert Einstein said is stupid, let's find new things. You don't see scientists today that say, oh, what this great scientist said or what this great scientist said is stupid. No. Science understands, build from the past. The things that the past didn't do right, fix it. And that's how you have new scientific discovery. See, in science, they don't subscribe to just one form of information. The moment something else comes, like, for example, Bob Lazar, the person that is well known for, his claims of working in government programs to back engineer StarCraft. This being was talking about how the StarCraft that they were trying to back engineer created its own gravitational field. And he used dark matter as a verbiage to try to explain this. And then later on, that turned out to be a good, a correct element. Later on, that turned out to be an actual element. Later on, it turned out to be an actual element. So what we're saying is, it's in humanity's best interest to know what's happening in the past. Let's make it a little more relatable for people. If you are interested in another person, male or female, whatever you prefer, and you want to get into a relationship with this person, you ask questions, right? You figure out their life, right? You figure out what they like to do and what they don't like to do, right? You figure out what they did in their past, right? You do your homework. It's only a fool that gets into a relationship just off the strength of what they see, and you don't figure out who this person is. A successful relationship is, you know as much as you possibly can about me, and I know as much as I possibly can about you because we talked. We had long conversations. We talked about your past. We talked about your history and what happened after that. When you are upfront and honest with each other, you have a holy connection. The same thing with existing. The exact same thing with existing. Well, if you don't talk about humanity's past, you will never figure out how to exist. Now, in truth, we're utilizing the term future and past for human transcription, for there is no time. All of these things are happening simultaneously. I mean, even Dolores Cannon figured this out when she was using her QHT sessions in channeling Nostradamus. And Nostradamus, the person that made all of these prophecies, some of them came true, some of them didn't. He was listening to a voice. This is the quote-unquote past that we think. But it's not the past, because a concept was born, and this concept was simultaneous time. Simultaneous time. Because time isn't so, everything is happening at once. The 60s is still going on right now. Simultaneous time. And then a new concept is being born. Parallel time. Now, in truth, we don't use the term time, but for human transcription, we're not going to insert a new word because it's going to throw everybody off. So we're going to keep reeling you in, and then once you figure out how these things work, then we'll just remove time, the word time, completely. But you have simultaneous time, everything is happening at once. But then you have parallel time, where you have neighboring dimensions. And parallel time is essentially what was going on as simultaneous time when Dolores Cannon was speaking to Nostradamus. Because Nostradamus was saying he was hearing a voice, which was Dolores Cannon, but in his time, it was the present. But in our time, in Dolores' time, it was the present. So she figured out, oh, you can time travel. This is a form of, oh, it's not time travel because our idea of time travel is different. This is, I'm not even getting esoteric here. Dolores Cannon, just look up her books. This is something, just look up her interview. This is documented stuff. The people that didn't even believe in Dolores Cannon, she was like, this is not coming from me. I did a session with Joe Schmo in Arkansas, and somehow when we got to the somnumistic level of the subconscious, a being came through and was speaking. And then when I went to New York, a complete different client that knows not of this person over here, when I got to the end of the session and brought forth the somnumistic level where this entity came forth, the entity said, let's finish what we was talking about over here. So somehow there's some type of connection. And then to even prove it, she did live sessions where she would invite people into these seminars and have people volunteer to come up on stage to be induced into the somnumistic level of the subconsciousness, because she created a quantum healing hypnosis. And then when she would, this is documented, look it up. Then when she would bring them to that level, that same entity would come through. This is documented, look it up. Then when she would bring them to that level, that same entity would come through and speaking to Dolores as if he knows her. How and who? Oh, something is deeper going on. See, what I present is a form of questioning. Yes, what's her at? Dolores Cannon is in the afterlife. Just look up on your Googles or on your search engine, on your DuckDuckGos, Dolores Cannon. All you gotta do is look up her name, and all of her work will come. All of her books will show. All of her proof is there. People use nowadays QHHT. Now they evolve the technique, the hypnosis technique, and to do it through technology. See, in the time of Dolores Cannon, she didn't want to do it through technology. She only did in-person sessions. Now you can just go, you can look up QHHT practitioners. You know, you have Allison Coe, that's a practitioner of QHHT, and many others. Allison Coe is a very popular one. You can look her up on YouTube, and she transcribes her sessions as well. And she's a practitioner of it, a high-level practitioner, because there's multiple levels of QHHT. All of these things are documented. So all we're saying is, when are humans going to get with the program and then get deprogrammed to where there's no programs at all? When are humans going to get to that point where they just start questioning? See, yes, Nadiie performs miracles. Go to all of my other videos where I've showed y'all techniques. Today is not about techniques, because I have click the link in my bio, click Nadiie Black's guidance, click the link in my bio, click Nadiie Black's guidance, and it will take you to the YouTube page where hundreds of hours of free content is there. Right now, it's not about displaying techniques. That's people's ego talking. You do it then. You do. No, I've done it. If you don't want to go do the research, that's fine. I'm not speaking to you though, because there's other people. If the shoe fits, don't wear it. If it does, you know who you are. But it's like, go there. Right now, we're talking about questioning, because there's already enough proof. You don't, yeah, exactly, yeah. We don't need Nadiie. We don't need Nadiie to give you another miracle. We don't, to give you more proof, because there's already enough proof. Now we have to get in this idea of appreciating the stepping stones. Remember what we said, to understand this now, you have to know what happened. Go into your ancient times. What happened? And what we find is to get back to this circle of unison, of love, of peace. This idea of separation must be utterly eradicated. It must be utterly eradicated. In Christ's teachings, and when we say Christ's teachings, we're not speaking of Christianity, for the Christ force, A.K.A. Source's will, A.K.A. God's will, existed before Christianity was even a thing. Heck, there are even stories about Yeshua not even being a part of the Christian religion until 300 plus years, roughly, after the religion was even created. So, when we utilize specific terms, don't just focus on the religious context of everything, because that's just brainwashing. If we say certain things and your brain instantly goes to one thing and not a broad form of information, know that you have been slightly manipulated and slightly brainwashed. If I say the N-word, everybody has an idea of what the N-word is. I can be saying negative. I can say the N-word means negative. But because we've all been brainwashed and manipulated, when we say the N-word, y'all all think of nigga. It's brainwashing. Anytime, and this is a form of technique that monks use. I'm giving you a concept that monks use to free their mind. Throughout your life, this is something you can all do right now. Anytime you speak of a topic or perform an action or do anything in your life right now, today, in this millisecond, and your mind goes to only one thing, you have been brainwashed, you have been enslaved in this particular energy. Now it's time to free yourself. If I say Jesus is the only name, if I say Yeshua is the only name, if I say Wanikia is the only name, if I say Buddha is only this, if I say Krishna was the only Christ, not everybody else, if I say this, if I say the N-word only means this, if I say this only means that, if I say the Christian religion is the only religion, if I say the Muslim religion is the only right one, if I say this prophet is the only right prophet, if I say my people were born first and only us, if I say this, if you bring something to a singularity and only that singularity, you have been brainwashed. So in ancient traditions, what we would do is we would go through what was called a vow of silence. What does a vow of silence mean? I tell people, do a 3-day vow of silence. If you don't utter a grunt, a laugh, a form of speaking for 3 days, no taxation, no representation, and they will take people to jail. No taxation, no representation, and they will still take people to jail. Broken amendment. Now, if you do not speak for 3 days, if you go on a vow of silence, read prior, beautiful wall, rich man condition. If you take a 3-day vow of silence, what about internal dialogue? We'll get to that. Okay, you're talking about internal dialogue as it pertains to vow of silence. Try your absolute best to not even have internal dialogue. And to do this is to not describe. Not that much scrolling. Oh, I got you. I'm still in this form of expressing at the moment. We will get to your full context. Try not to have too much internal dialogue, and to not have internal dialogue during vows of silence is to stop describing. So when you look at a couch, stop saying couch. Stop giving things titles, A.K.A. names. If you stop giving things names, you just say, I'm looking at something. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at that. If you start saying stuff like this, like, yeah, that will guide you to not having so much internal dialogue. But anytime you are on a vow of silence, and masters would do it for years, but remember, time has collapsed. So what then took a master 2 to 3 years of being completely silent, now it's only going to take us 3 days to get the same level of information, because the information and our existence is now in alignment with who we are in the full expression. So what that translates into, we are very powerful today. Even beings like Bashar would speak of this and saying like, and I already came up with this concept. I didn't originate the concept, but I came up with it on my own accord. So then when I heard Bashar speak of it, then I was like, oh snaps, there's some truth to this. If we was to go even like 100 years ago, if we was to travel back in time even 100 years ago, Bashar is wrong on many concepts. That's only when you don't astral project. See, people and look, and this is not me defending Bashar. Trust and believe, I don't defend nobody because I'm not subscribed to people. I don't know these people personally. But what I do know is the things that I experience in the astral realms and even in physicality, and the astral realms and physicality. When you experience these things and you see, because Bashar not the only person talking about this. See, most people, I can tell when people are only getting their information from one source. See, people will hear stuff that Bashar is saying, or Billy Carson is saying, or Michael Murdad is saying, or Yogananda is saying, or Jesus is saying. They will hear these singular figures, and they will devote all of the information to these singular figures without cross-referencing. Even in science on Earth, we cross-reference. So I don't take anything, anybody, even me, don't take anything I say at just face value. You cross-reference, but you don't cross-reference through another person. You cross-reference through experience. Well, if we're talking about esoteric things, then pull yourself up by your bootstraps and start practicing esoteric modalities. And if you aren't willing to do that, then shut up. Just to be frank with you. If you aren't willing to astral project, shut up about Bashar, shut up about people like Ryan Cropper or anybody that is esoteric. If you aren't willing to go research ancient history, shut up about Billy Carson. Shut up about these people that are bringing forth this level of information, because you're not. So, and that's just the honest fact. Type 33s in the chat if that makes sense, everybody. Type 33s in the chat if this makes sense. If you aren't going to do anything about it, shut up. Type 33s in the chat if that makes sense. If you aren't going to do ancient histories and research, shut up about Billy Carson. Shut up about Joe Rogan. Shut up about, Bob Lazar. Just shut up. The moment you start doing esoteric information or studying ancient history, then you have a place to talk. So when I would hear Bashar, I promise you, for the first few years of me seeing Bashar, I did not care about him. I didn't, and this is the thing that people must understand. There's so much separation and manipulation on this planet that the moment freedom of speech is my freedom to say shut up, and freedom of speech is your freedom to continue on. It goes both ways. It doesn't just stop one way. Now, when I would hear these people, I am not subscribed to separation. And I say the word shut up in the most humble, respectable, polite way. Shut up. Shut up. Just shut up. Not a shut up. No. Just be quiet. If you would like the term be quiet better, just be quiet. But when I would hear, I'm not of separation, so I don't instantly deny. See, people, anytime you have a energy or a trigger in you to instantly deny something, you have been programmed. Look at that. Look at that. Look, I'm being very honest with you. Us as humanity, we won't evolve until you start looking at these things. First looking at them, second questioning them, then doing something about them, thirdly. If I say Yeshua is another name for Jesus. I don't say Yeshua is the only name for Jesus. His name, there's many names. Yeshua, Ishua, Wanikia, Jesus. There's many names, and even more than that. And that's not just about that figure. I'm using that as an example because most people know him or that being. But it goes with everybody. If you have a denial system that says, no, you're wrong, and you have nothing to back your claims besides your own will and opinion, something is wrong with that. And of course, we're not using, the terms right and wrong as absolutes. We're saying those terms for human transcription. In truth, there's no right or wrong. There's only what we accept and what we don't accept. But really question, are you the one accepting this devoted absolute, or did someone teach you this and manipulate you into doing this? Because even masters would say, be as a child. When you figure out what that means, look at a child. Does a child deny? No. So if children came first, then it's not in our nature. It's not in humanity's nature. This is logical. Remember I said make things make sense logically, then you make sense spiritually. Logically, we came from babies, right? Type 33s in the chat if we can all agree. When you're a human, you start off as a baby. Type 33s in the chat right now if we can all agree. If you're a human, you start off as a baby. Type 33s in the chat if we can all agree on that. If you're a human, you start off as a baby. Well, when you look at the children, and children are denying, then people and scientists can't claim that it's in our nature to be deceiving. It's in our nature to be conniving. It's in our nature. You say duh, but there are still people out here that feel like it's in our nature to do these rudimentary, terrible acts. Like we were programmed to do this, but when you look at a child, no. So it's not in our genes to be this way initially. That's not our defaults. That's something that is taught to us. So anytime, do you read your chat? Yes, I do. But we must understand that I have a segment specifically for the chat. And that is not this segment. So patience is a must. I understand you must be new here. The ones that frequent my lives and my teaching, they understand patience is a must. Allow not your ego to be ridiculed with impatience when sacred levels of information is being presented. Because a lot of the moments, your answers may be answered if you're just patient. Now, what we understand is because of this, do not just build this denial system. Don't build this denial system with anything. So when you hear people like Bashar, me for example, I heard Bashar for years and I didn't instantly deny him because I'm not of separation and I'm not brainwashed. This is not to say anything he said is right or wrong. I'm not brainwashed. So when I was listening to him for years, I would question it. What I would do, because I know how to astral project, because I practice what I preach, unlike most people. I didn't even utter a Bashar name until I figured something out, something in the spirit realm. So I astral project. Ryan Cropper, he taught me how to astral project on command. But I've been astral projecting since I was 7 every night. And I just didn't know what I was doing. And then when I was 13, I watched the Ryan Cropper video. You can go on your YouTube right now, type in Ryan Cropper astral projecting. And one of his most famous videos, almost 1 million views. That was the one I watched. That same night, I figured out how to do it on command. Not necessarily because he taught me how to astral project, because I've been doing it since I was 7. But yes, Ryan Cropper, exactly. Not because he taught me how to astral project, because I was doing it at 7, but he guided me on what I was doing. So I was like, oh, this is what I've been doing this whole time? This is why I can't have dreams? And he taught me how to bring my consciousness into a dream state and into an astral state, because there's 2 different states. Right before you go to sleep, we all make a decision. Most of us don't remember it because we don't have the mental wherewithal. But when you start practicing what I call, energetic memory, then, or spiritual memory, then you will build on this information and you'll start to remember right before you go to sleep. Like right before it happens, right before you go to sleep, there's immense darkness. Immense darkness. And in that darkness, everything is loud and there's clarity. It only feels like it's there for like 1 to 3 seconds. It is that short of a time span. But remember, time isn't real. So to a conscious and a subconscious, that 3 seconds is like hours. And this is right before you go to sleep. In that moment, we all make a decision to go into the dream realm or to the astral realm. But because most people don't practice moving with their astral body, little footnote on that, with your astral body, you must practice it. Because if I teach you how to astral project without teaching you how to move in your astral body, and this has happened to me as well, as masters giving me stories about them seeing this. If you figure out how to astral project without training your astral body, you're literally being birthed. A newborn can't walk right, where it's the same thing. You won't be able to literally get out your body. You'll be stuck. You'll be stuck. And then this is where you have the stories on YouTube, dangers of astral projection. I feel like someone is on my chest. Well, most people that are negative, they go into the ethers. They don't even make it into the astral realms. There's levels to this. There's something called the etheric plane, and there's something called the astrals. And then you have the light realms, the heaven realms, and all of that, right? First time won't be the best. Not necessarily the case, only if you're a negative person. My first experience was amazing. But because I've been astrolating for a long time, when I first did it on command, I'm a kid as well. So because I'm a kid, I'm not negative inherently. It's in my genes. I'm literally built for this. I was birthed to be what you see right now. And for a long period of time, I moved away from teaching and things of that nature. Negative, but I was in a negative vibration, but I was in fear. First time will be the fair. Yeah, if you're in a negative, vibration, yeah. Even fear, even if in yourself you're not negative and you're a positive person, I'm not going to act like astral projecting is some, just amazing thing. Yes, it's amazing. Yes, it's cool, but it can get very scary because it's intense. I'm not going to act like it's intense. I've learned how to work through it. I didn't understand. I feel like a phone was attacked. I feel like the phone was attacked. Yeah. Astral projecting is very intense. I'm not going to act like it's not intense. So, yes, you're going to experience intensity. But sometimes, and Yeshua even taught me this. Yeshua, yes, that being. I speak to him all the time because I'm a Christ being as well. I'm another Christ on the planet. Yeshua taught me that feeling that you get when you're going through these big spiritual journeys, sometimes it's not fear, sometimes it's just excitement. But you've never experienced excitement to this effect, so you think it's fear. Because remember, humans tend to fear what they don't understand. Astral projecting is something that you don't do, in your day-to-day, just willy-nilly. So when you start doing it, whoa, what is happening? We interpret that feeling as, I'm scared. But when you recognize what fear does, fear comes when you feel your life is in danger. That's when fear happens, when your life is in danger or something in you or around you is in danger. Do you feel like a kid when you astral project? I feel like a kid always because I keep my inner child intact. So to answer your question, yes, but it's always. I'm very playful. My wife, she sees that playfulness. And my mother, I remember, was like, I don't know how you did it, Nadiie, but you somehow retain your child-like self. And I was like, I was born for this. My birthday is 010101. I've been astral projecting since I was 7. I remember speaking to spirits when I was a baby. I've been doing this. So it's like when masters would say be as a child, when people would say be love and stuff, I took it serious. I took it serious. Because why not? That's why they never say fear God and people say only fear God. But why would you? Exactly. Why would you fear God when God fears not? When fear doesn't exist next to God? So what we're saying is, with Bob Lazar, I would listen to what he's saying and I would go astral project and figure out if anything of what he's saying is true. And I tell you all, if I was to put a percentage on what Bob Lazar is saying to say if it's true or not, I would say 80% is true and 20%. No, actually, what we'll do is this. It really is 20%, but for human transcription, we'll break down the 20 into tens. 80% of what not Bob Lazar, but Bashar and Bob Lazar. Yes, 80% of Bob Lazar as well. So this actually applies to both Bob Lazar and Bashar. 80% of what they're saying is true. 10% humans just can't comprehend. Not because humans are dumb, it's because humans will never comprehend it. It's like what the quote from Albert Einstein, you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. Well, to translate this into spiritual terms, you can't understand the beyond with the same mind that think you're separate from it. You're never going to understand concepts. Heck, even religions tell you this. Masters and prophets from religion, for example, Jesus, A.K.A. Yeshua, he would say heaven is like a kingdom. He didn't say it is a kingdom. Why did Yeshua use parables and metaphors? And why did he say the word like? Because I, as Yeshua, as the Christ, experienced this blissful state many, many times over. But the words that we use in density now doesn't describe what this place is. There literally is no words for this place that I call God, that I call heaven. There's no words for it. So what do I do as Jesus? I, as Jesus, would say, all right, what do these people associate paradise to? Oh, these people associate paradise to kingdoms at that time. Well, heaven is like that. Makes sense, right? Type 33s of what we said just makes sense. I don't want to go over anybody's head. Type 33s in the chat if what we said just makes sense. That in order for us to explain some esoteric information, if it doesn't exist on earth, we have to give you metaphors and examples and parables to try to give you some, foundation. So when I say 80% of what Bob Lazar and Bashar are saying is true, 10% of it you just will never understand, it's not because any of you are stupid. You can have 35,000 degrees in every single field on earth and you still won't get it. Yes, in our density realm, because it's not our reality. Exactly. Y'all too are exactly right, and the rest of you that said 33 is exactly right. It just doesn't exist here. Okay, remember we said things make sense logically and make sense spiritually. Logically, the traditions from China is not going to make sense in the traditions of America. Does that make sense? Well, if that makes sense, why do you think it's not going to be the same thing in a more grand apparent sense as it pertains to density and that which is the beyond? It's the exact same thing. As above, so below means as above, so below across the board. As above, so below means as above, so below across the board. Everything that exists in heaven, on earth, there is a form of it. There is a form of it. That's what as above, so below means. This would be considered as the seed of life. Behind me, this symbol. It's sacred geometry. Then you have the flower of life as well. But the seed and the flower of life go hand in hand. So sometimes people will call the seed the flower, and sometimes people will call the flower the seed, because what was born first, the chicken or the egg? Now, what people must understand, this is all called sacred geometry. So that's just something for us to integrate. The other 10% is they're ahead of their time. It's going to come later on. And that is actually proven to be fact. Bob Lazar talked about dark matter. and dark matter being able to create its own gravitational field. That's how these spacecrafts were able to propel in the air and go left, right, down, up, diagonal, and speeds that is not known to man and known to physical laws, because they have a bubble around them, their own gravitational field, using dark matter to create their own physical laws. Bob Lazar said that, and then what happened? Years later, they said he was right. Compound 151. If that is that what the compound is, the dark matter that Bob Lazar was talking about with the gravitational field? Preston? If that's the case, then I mean, now look, this is what we say. If he was right about that, and that was one of them one, it's not like he was right about something small. Let's give credit where credit is due. It's not like he was right about, oh, when you put peanut butter and jelly, you get a sandwich. It's not like not like he invented something so trivial or discovered some terminology that was so trivial. Yeah, could be wrong about the exact number, but he was talking about it before CERN discovered it. Exactly. It's not like he was saying something trivial. He was a new element. That's not something that we just stumble upon. How many elements have you came across? How many elements has I came across? Look, let's not bring you. How many elements has Nadiie came across? Not that many, I'll tell you that much. Not that many. So for him to be right about that, I'm not saying believe him or don't believe him. All I'm saying is question. If he was right about something that now years later they're saying, yeah, we found something, what else was he right about? I would only not believe Bob Lazar, or I would only not be inclined to feel like what he's saying is truth if what he was saying was like small stuff. But that's a major discovery. Like if Bob Lazar was a giant scientist that wasn't blackballed from life, he would be on like nearing an Albert Einstein type of level, because he literally discovered a new element. Element 115. Sorry, perfect. So it was 115, correction. Yeah. Question everything. Exactly. Don't just say yes or no, just question. So now we speak on Bashar. Bashar spoke on many things. For one to just say it's not truth, ask yourself why. I'm not saying change the way you believe. If you want to believe that what either party is saying is wrong, still believe what they're saying is wrong. But what I'm saying is question it first. I'm not saying, indoctrinate yourself into believe any part. No. What I'm saying is ask yourself why. Because if what you're saying is this is wrong because someone told me, stop. Leave the house. Go take an ayahuasca journey or go take a meditation journey without the use of outside substances. Whatever path you want to walk on, just leave this and then come back and then try again. Because why are you just bold-faced believing something that somebody else told you? Off the strength of just somebody else told me. Yeah, it's okay to be not sure about Bashar. That's completely fine. But now, those who are not sure, ask yourself why. And if you come to a logical conclusion that I myself and only myself heard this information and it just didn't sit right with me and only me, then okay, don't believe him. But if you go within and say, well, that's not right. That's not what Christianity says. Well, that's not what this says. What is that? That's not you. You're not. Last time I checked, you're a human, not a Christian religion. Last time I checked, you're a human, not a philosophy. You're not a person just made out of words. Last time I checked, you were made out of flesh and blood. You're not made out of paragraphs and ideas. So why are you then subscribing to paragraphs and ideas like they're your life? All I'm saying is question. Preston says, as I've started questioning ones close to me, I found it feels threatening to their identity. And now that's where we get into this ego. Great segue, Preston. You should be my co-host. We understand that when you start questioning the fabric of somebody else's imagination, they lose power. And if their identity was of power, then they feel like you're killing them. So that's the only reason why people be like, don't question your religions, don't question your philosophies, don't question Earth, don't go back in time. What do you mean the fabric of imagination? This entire system that we live in right now is the fabric of Rockefeller's imagination. Rockefeller one day came up and said, I want everybody to be taught these things. Literally, colleges are named after, I think it, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, but isn't Morehouse College Rockefeller's wife's last name? That literally is that's their, like, when you go back, you figure out that, oh, Rockefeller and his little, comrades decided to change the way Earth operated because they had enough resources to do so. That is somebody's imagination. You know how a kid grabs his toys and says, okay, now we're going to be in La La Land today. Batman, I need you to go fly the ship. And they have a little toy bus and they turn the toy bus upside down and now the toy bus is a spaceship. That's imagination. That's exactly what Rockefeller did. These systems, the way we're taught, literally, if you go back before Rockefeller implemented all of these forms of teachings or his way, his will upon the people, before he did that, y'all do realize ether was something that was taught in the science community, right? If you go back before, if you go early 1900s, early 1800s, early 1700s, you will find out that the word ether was widely, there's actually scientific charts and data and algorithms showing you that ether was a thing. So then why did Rockefeller and his little comrades decide to just remove the spiritual aspect of life? You see what I'm saying? That's his own imagination. So history is just his story. Exactly. It's the way we learn, the way schools are, that's literally Rockefeller. Every black college somehow has a tie back to him. Hell, even his wife is over one of the most famous black colleges. And now everybody thinks it's just, oh, this is so black owned. No, it's not. It's Rockefeller owned. And let's not just point all the blame to him. Peace unto you, Ray. Let's not point, thank you for spelling my name right. So many people missed that one I. I love you for that. Thank you. So many people, they just point the blame at Rockefeller. But Rockefeller was told to do these things. This is not something that he just did. He was told to do these things. And there's a congregation of not even just physical-based beings, etheric-based beings. I want to give y'all some sacred information right now about this topic that nobody else has given you. Do you know that there is something called etheric beings, right? Do you know that if the masses figured out that etheric beings are the real ones in control, that then we would try to rise up above them? Wouldn't it be smart as a etheric being to remove the word ether from the normal teachings of society? This is not even spiritual esoteric information. This is actual fact. This is scientific fact that ether was being taught early 1800s, early 1700s. 33 exactly. This is fact. So if I'm an etheric-based being and I don't want people to know about me, I'm going to remove the one form of footprint. You know how they have digital footprint? I'm going to remove this historical footprint completely from history. And now, nobody is going to blame etheric beings. Exactly. Ray, you got it right. I was just waiting for somebody to say it. Ether was a part of the periodic table, everybody. If you don't believe me, go look it up. When we talk about the etheric realms and all of this stuff, people think it's so spiritual. It's not. Rockefeller and everybody else of his time readily was practicing and studying and using ether. Astral projecting was something that was normal. I can't remember the book, but I read on this guy from 1940 talking about it. Exactly. Astral projecting, all of these things, the etheric realm, is not freaking abnormal. It is normal. We're in a day and age where we're finally getting out of Rockefeller's imagination. And now we're seeing life, peace unto you, now we're seeing life for what it really is. This is what the Aquarius age is also a part of. Getting out of the imagination of these archetypes. You feel me? This is why I told everybody in many countless videos, stop worshiping, one, and then two, stop worshiping this idea that everything is so pseudo-spiritual and just everything is just so magnificent and just woo, woo, woo. No, that is normal. Normalize miracles. Normalize miracles. Normalize spiritual things because it was normal at some point in time. Not Atlantis, not Lemuria, not any of these places. No, it was normal, literally, relatively, in terms of when you look at things in history, relatively recent. The 1800s, the 1900s is not that long ago. It's really not that long ago. So if we were practicing this, exactly, life is spiritual. If we were practicing this that long ago, why? Just ask questions. That's all. So that's why I'm saying, as it pertains to Bob Lazar and Bashar, go within and you will figure, exactly, history amnesia. Go within and ask yourself, am I the one that says I don't believe these people? Or do these people remove the threads from my concepts that I have been taught? And when you remove enough threads from something, guess what? It undoes completely. Most people are afraid of not being tied to their ideas, so they'll attack another that feels like their ideas aren't so. So if I, for example, say this way of life is not the way of life, if someone over there that lives that way hears me say that, they're going to think I'm attacking them when I'm not. I'm simply saying that there's another way of living. That's how some people operate. So I'm not saying, just be indoctrinated by anybody's belief. But what I'm saying is figure out if it's from you or if you've been brainwashed. And I promise you, 80% of the time, we've been brainwashed. Really is 90%, but I'm going to give that extra 10%. I'm going to give y'all some grace. I'm going to say 80%. We have all been brainwashed. We've all been in school. And if we haven't been in school, we've been taught 1 + 1 is 2. What Terrence Howard say? 1 + 1, not 2. It's still 1. Whatever he said. Whatever he said. Or 1 × 1 is not 1, it's 2. Whatever he said, hey, I like that questioning because Rockefeller taught me that. Rockefeller taught, yes, it became mandatory. Do y'all realize how crazy? Step out of the reality of this life, right? Step out of the reality of this life and look at Earth objectively. Isn't it kind of crazy? Objectively, open-minded. Isn't it kind of wild that somebody one day said this means this, and if you don't believe it, I'll kill you or throw you in jail? Because you don't take your kids to school, they can be taken away from you. You be threatened. There's many people that have scientific discoveries that have death threats. Isn't that kind of wild? Joe Rogan and Terrence Howard, I think I'm like halfway done with it, a little over halfway. But ain't that kind of wild? that somebody someday just said, this means this. This means this. You can insert mathematics. 1 + 1 = 2. 1 × 1 = 1. You can insert life. You need to live by these laws or live by. Isn't it kind of wild that one person one day said, I'm going to say that this means this, and if you don't subscribe to it, you're done. Rockefeller famously stated, I don't need a nation of thinkers. I need a nation of workers. Prince Preston, I promise you, you're the greatest co-host of all time. Of all time. Of all time. He just gave me a quote that y'all can just look up. That literally to the T explains what I'm saying. Rockefeller literally said, I don't need a nation of thinkers. Let's just stop right there. You don't even need to hear the rest of the quote. I don't need a nation of thinkers. I do not need a nation of thinkers. That is absolutely bonkers. He literally told y'all what that means. I don't need a nation of thinkers. The process, the mental process of saying that is, I don't want none of y'all to know the truth, because the moment y'all figure out what the truth is, I'm not going to be in power. And then we go to the workers part. Because for me to be in power, I need people under me. There is no king without a kingdom. Y'all must understand that. There is no royalty if there is no peasants. Y'all need to understand that. Because if everybody was equal, we wouldn't feel the need to feel power over anybody. So what we're saying is, in order for you to break out of this matrix, as some people say, we're already breaking it out of it. So, even if you try to, prolong it, it's going to happen regardless. This is called the Aquarius age for a reason. Go back in time and figure out all the prophecies from the Aquarius age. A.K.A. says, the Carnegie, by the will of source, I said that name right, changed the medical education during the same period. Vilify. Oh my goodness. See, I knew that the allopathic community, I knew that at a point in time, they stopped allowing witches. Because if you go into history, and remember, one of the reasons why people say they love my teachings, and I hear this constantly, is they say I find a way to make something so spiritual make sense logically, because that's how it's supposed to be. I do have esoteric talks, but you all must understand, I have a mystery school dedicated to that. Like, for example, if any of you want to join my mystery school, DM me 33 and I will give you my free 3-day course. Because if you aren't willing to dedicate at least 3 days to God, why are you trying to join a mystery school? What is a mystery school? A mystery school is a place that is filled with ancient spiritual information. DM me 33, I'll send you the 3-day course, and then after you complete the 3-day course, then you have clearance to enter the mystery school. But you still have the choice whether you want to enter it or not. There is 2 tiers for the mystery school, a single-digit tier and a double-digit tier. It costs more to buy a king-size Twix bar than to get in my mystery school. So I don't want to hear that there's no value. It costs more to get a king-size Twix bar, to get into a freaking school where you're going to find yourself and go back home, back to God. I feel like that's more valuable than a snack. You feel me? And one of the main reasons why, because everything used to be free at one point, right? But people didn't take things serious. They would be late. They wouldn't show up. They wouldn't do none of this stuff. So I talked to God about it. I'm like, God, I'm trying to give all of this away for free. Why are these humans acting like this? Why are they just acting like none of it is useful? And then God told me, listen, there's 4 ways that you must connect with humans as of right now in order for them to be fully motivated in what you're doing. They have to be financially involved, spiritually involved, physically involved, and mentally involved. If you get humans involved in all 4 ways, then you will create a revolution. If you remove finances and they're only spiritually, mentally, and physically involved, it's not going to work. You have to include the financial aspect of it. And not just finances as in money, because love is a currency as well. There's not just material currency, but love is a currency. There's actually a place where you can exchange love. So, how many hours a week should we commit to mystery school? It's timeless. So what we say is, listen, so I typically go live every Friday and every Sunday, right? But because my schedule has been changing and life has really, truly been lifing, I've been restructuring, because remember, I like to practice what I preach. So remember, everybody, if I miss a live or I miss a few lives, know that I'm getting a call not to teach because I have to live. It's not healthy for one to just constantly go up in front and all of these people and not dedicate some time to live and practice and integrate some teachings and practice what they preach. You feel me? So when life was going array and it was going in many other directions and I was like in the crossroads of it, I'm like, all right, let me not teach for like 2 weeks and let me practice what I preach before I go back in front of these people and just give them these empty claims. No, I need these claims to be full of substance. And you only get substance from a particular form of existence when you live this frequency that you're displaying. So now I'm going to my absolute best. I'm going to try to, my best, go back to the Friday and Sunday lives. I might change the times a little bit, but now you see it's Wednesday today. When I get the call, I'm gonna just go. So don't be so locked into just one particular time, because we're timeless. But in the mystery school, we're going to try our absolute best to go live every Sunday in the mystery school. But I need everybody to finish their 3-day course. And once they finish their 3-day course, then join the mystery school. See, if it was of my will, I would have like a test when you hit the join. Because right now, technically, you can click the link in my bio on my page. And you can click the mystery school. And you could just pay, the single tier or the double tier and just get in. If it was my will, I would put a test behind it, and the test would be about the 3-day course. If it was my will, that would be so. But, I'm going to allow people the grace to have spiritual integrity. So the spiritual integrity of this is, did you complete the 3-day course? If you did, then proceed with the mystery school. So if you're serious about learning this information or remembering and you want to be a part of this revolution, if you want to be a part of the Aquarius age, one of the reasons the Aquarius age is here is because I'm here as Nadiie. It's because you're here. It's because Terrence Howard is here. It's because people like Bob Lazar. It's because your family. It's because people that's talking about sacred geometry. All of us, it's not just one person anymore. It's not just Jesus is coming to save our sins. No, it's all of us are the masters. The reason why so many beings like the Anunnaki and all of these other, forms of galactic beings and etheric-based beings are infatuated with this planet and the inhabitants of it is because we're the first time in galactic history where an entire planet is evolving. Usually it's breakaway civilizations. We're the first time in galactic history where an entire planet is evolving. So if you all are actually serious and committed to God, be of a life of love. And then when you're of that frequency, if you feel what we're giving you today as servicing you, DM me 33 if you haven't already and complete the 3-day course, because I will give you the 3-day course for free. Then after you complete the 3-day course, make a decision if you want to join the mystery school. Click the link in the bio. You will see mystery school. You will click on that. It's on Patreon, because we have more control over what we say. There's even some things that I would love to say, like people be like, why do you put things behind a paywall? You're looking at it completely differently. It's not that I'm putting something behind a paywall. I told you the 4 ways you must integrate with people. What I'm doing is I'm giving myself some freedom Because a troll is not going to be financially, physically, mentally, and spiritually involved in something. A troll in public platforms can come in and just disrupt the frequency if they so choose to, if people in the comments or in the live gives them power. I don't give them power, so they can't mess up nothing. But sometimes people have the tendency to be, interactive with the hate. There are some things that I've talked about on lives that has gotten restricted. And when a live gets restricted, because some people be like, well, why are you teaching on technology? I've been teaching for 9 years. There was a person earlier in this live. His name is Jeff. Jeff Miller is the one that guided me to bring this to technology. Without Jeff, I wouldn't be on technology. I would be teaching like Jesus and like Buddha in physicality. Like how they taught, that's how I taught. Because I can admit I was stubborn. I didn't see the power in technology. Even now, I still don't see it all the way, but I still see some type of value in it because I know not everybody astral projects. So this is an easy way to communicate to a lot of people. So without Jeff Miller, and Jeff Miller was coming to a lot of my gatherings. I was teaching for 9 years before I took it to technology. That's the difference between me and other people. Y'all can clearly tell when someone is this is their first time teaching and they started teaching through the phone. Y'all can see, everybody can tell, you just watched that Terrence Howard interview and now you're on the phone. I can just tell you just watched that Terrence Howard. There is a energy about people that lived it that you can just tell, oh, he's telling the truth. He's going, look, this person that I'm seeing right now is giving me this information. And when he gets off this live, he's still living that way. He's going to give us the information whether we listen or not, because that's his duty. Y'all can clearly, it's the same thing Jesus did. I'm going to give you the information, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, and then I'm going to leave. Y'all better ask the questions while I am here. Or come with me. Either way, this is what it is. So if you're really serious, join the mystery school. We're going to go live every Sunday, but I want to make sure I have enough people that have converted. Because see, when you're on Patreon, there's a free section. And I have a lot of people that's in the free section. Some of those people are still taking the 3-day course. I do post some things for free, like if I'm posting updates, I'll allow all the free members to see those things. But join the first tier. I call it the transcending tier. Join that because it costs more than a king-size Twix bar. It costs more to buy a king-size Twix bar than to join that tier. So it's in your best interest to join that tier, at least for a month. Because every month, like even today, after this live, I'm going to be posting a new piece of sacred information in the mystery school. Because every month, the first tier gets a very, very encoded piece of information. Now, when you go into the big tier, I'm telling, because I'm not money hungry. Remember, I was doing this for free. God told me to start charging people because they don't take things serious unless they feel like their finances are involved. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. Don't do the big teaching. This is what I recommend everybody to do, because this is how y'all know I'm not really caring about your money for real. Do the small teaching or the transcending tier. Do that single digit. Remember, it's very cheap. Do that tier. Go into at least 1 to 3 of our Sunday services, right? Go to at least 1 to 3 of our Sunday services. If you feel like, because how the public platform right now is, I'm sitting down, I'm just teaching to y'all. In the mystery school, y'all, I'm going to be outside. I want to show y'all. I have a spirit guide. I have many, many spirit guides, but there's one particular animal totem that I work with, and in my language, we call it Omakichipanikem. That means hawk. The messenger of the gods. I have hawks that circle my house right now. Because I work with them so much, I know how to even shapeshift into a hawk. I know how to transfer my consciousness into hawks and see as they see. I know how to turn into an etheric hawk and go into the realms. Because hawks and eagles have very powerful, meanings and ways they exist. I'm connected with hawks. Like, you remember, in the Egyptian culture, there's one particular character in the Egyptian culture that has a hawk head. And he who he is. Hawks are extremely powerful. When you connect with that energy, hawk is about sight. Hawk is about knowingness. Hawk is about being above these things and seeing it from a different perspective. So when in the mystery school in my lives, I'm not just sitting down right here. I may start off the live like this, but then I'm gonna be like, all right, y'all, we're not in the public platform anymore. I can actually show y'all what I'm talking about now. I can literally give y'all the tangible proof, but I don't want anything to be shut down. So that's like I can't do it here because I've tried before. I will show y'all the hawks. I can call the hawk closer to me. I can, show y'all, spirits. I can do techniques with y'all. And I've done many techniques with people, in these lives. Go back, click the link in my bio, click Nadiie Black's guidance, and then watch the 7-day live for the eclipse. And I was, on the third day, I was giving techniques in the comments. You can't see the comments from the video, but in the comments, and even if you practice the techniques that I was teaching, people were like, yo, my hands are vibrating. I'm seeing color. What is going on? Everything feels different. Why is this happening to my body? And I'm saying, you're having an awakening right now. So if I'm able to do that and cut through the parameters and limitations that people bring forth on public platforms, you can only imagine the type of stuff that I'm going to teach when I don't have to worry about things being banned in the mystery school. So that's why I'm saying there's so much value in the mystery school. And I'm not going to mention that part, but just know everybody that's in the mystery school, we got something very, very special for you. We got something. That part, I tried to say it, but sometimes, because source enters all of our bodies. You know what channeling is? We always channel. And every time you talk, you channel. But I have a form of channeling. It's a new form of channeling on Earth, but nothing is really new under the sun. And it's an integration form of channeling. Some people, when they channel, they set aside their own consciousness. I merge my consciousness with what I am channeling. That is a Christ way, or a source will way. Anybody who is a Christ conscious type of being, or what we call source's will, they do that. Anything they channel, they become. So that's why I don't channel hatred things, because I have a new form of channeling that people don't do because it's extremely dangerous. If a master from Tibet heard what I just said, he will first look at me crazy, and then he will look at everybody else and say, y'all better not do what he just did. Y'all better not follow him. Not because this form of channeling, this ancient form of channeling is bad, simply because most people aren't ready for it. Because people aren't in control of their own minds. People have something called intrusive thoughts. So if you can't even overcome your own mind, why do you think you'll be able to overcome a very powerful etheric being? You feel me? That's why it's kind of dangerous to do these type of things. Now I'm scrolling the comments real quick. But he said it's Wednesday. Yeah, we're going through a big schedule change because life is shifting a lot for us. So we're trying our absolute best to keep to that Friday and Sunday live. But remember, we're not going to be going live on Sunday on the public anymore. We're going to exclusively hold that day for the mystery school, and then Friday is going to be for the public. But until I figure out my schedule, I might change the Friday into a different day. But until I figure out my schedule all the way, anytime Source just tells me to go live, I'll just go live and just say, yo, this is covering for that day. You know how that works. But I didn't teach for about 2 weeks because I had to go live and become. And, sometimes it's good to get away from the technology and go out in nature and go out and practice. Because I was finding that a lot of the time when certain big revelations was coming and I was being, guided to do certain things, I'm like, I gotta teach. I'm like, no, let me do these techniques. And then when I finally come back to teach the people, I'll come back with so much more and be like, listen, look what I just discovered. You feel me? So make sure everybody, also, if what we've provided, if it is of service for you in any way, click the link in my bio on my page and you will see donate. Donate. Please donate. Support the people that are bringing forth this information. Just support it. $1, a penny, whatever, or $3 million. I don't care what you want to donate. Just donate. Because the more we get these donations, the more we can just simply focus on this, and I don't have to worry about the schedule changes and focusing on doing other forms of life to fund this. Because And it's always interesting to me that this world just prioritizes money so much. So I'm like, I gotta get the money. I can't just talk about source and give people miracles and guide them to performing their own miracles and stuff. That's not good enough. And then you have the angels coming through and the spirit guides. So no, that's beyond good enough. But you just have some people either brainwashed or some people that just say, yo, I still got bills though. And both of those are is valid. I see. The people that are brainwashed, forgive them for they know not what they do. The people that are brainwashed, forgive them for they know not what they do. And the people that say, yo, I got bills to pay though. Yo, that's valid. Because we do be having bills. That is valid. So that's why it's good to support the support. Yeah, nice. Getting restricted means you're on the right path. Yo, I've gotten restricted many times. I remember, what did I say? What was the one video that I was so surprised that got restricted? It's in one of the ones. It was one of the more recent ones. I was speaking about, yes, there it is. Thank you, Source. I was speaking about healing ancestral trauma. Y'all, TikTok restricted the live because I'm talking about healing ancestral trauma. Why? I'm like, if y'all gonna ban that, the list of things that I got, because I actually have a list of things I want to teach y'all. I'm like, I can't, if they gonna ban this, I definitely can't talk about this stuff, so I'm gonna have to save that for the mystery school. So there was some stuff that I have planned for y'all, but y'all as in the public platforms, but I can't. And people be like, well, why are you teaching on TikTok? Because the algorithms of other social media platforms, those algorithms prioritize payment to get to your own followers now. If you post on Instagram, your own follower, like my homies was saying, I didn't even know you had a show because I'm a musician as well. A very good one at that. I mean, better than many people. Just click the link in my bio. You'll see Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. Listen for yourself. That's all I can say about that. Listen to yourself because music is subjective. I do got an album coming out first week of July though, called The Last Resort. So y'all gonna see that though. But yeah, click the link in the bio. Click one of the last 3 links: Apple Music, Spotify, or YouTube, and you can listen to my new album, Why We Fear. Me and my brother. We're not a group. We just decided to make an album together. I have many solo materials. But yeah, I'm like, yo, what the heck is going on here? When you post on Instagram and all the other social media feeds, you literally have to pay them for your own post to be shown to your own followers. So now I don't even post anymore. I post on the story because the story, it still blocks, but it's way more open than just the actual post, which is wild to me. So TikTok, this algorithm prioritizes new people. See, TikTok, the reason why this algorithm is so revolutionary is because TikTok doesn't even prioritize your own followers. It just prioritizes new people completely. Every single post you make, you will gain a new follower. Because if you go into your analytics for your videos, it's going to say 80 to 90% not following you. You're going to be like, yo, TikTok is about reaching the people. This is the perfect platform for teaching spiritual stuff. Because to teach about the truth, we just want the truth to be known to as many people as possible. And if I'm not a person that can get to 1 million people, I can tell Joe Schmo over here or Cindy Woo. And Cindy Woo or Joe Schmo might tell 10 people. And then those 10 people might tell 10 people. And then those 10 people might. And then we just have the domino effect of the truth coming out. That's why TikTok is so good. Not because I care about TikTok. It's the algorithm. If the algorithm was the same on the other platforms, we will be over there. And I'm still over there. I'm on YouTube. Click the link in my bio on my page. Click the link on my page. Click Nadiie Black's Guidance. Nadiie Black's Guidance. It will take you to my YouTube page. Subscribe over there. All the lives that's posted here is posted over there alongside all the videos. Over 100 hours of free content. Of very deep content too. Because you have to remember, the mystery school idea, that didn't come about until maybe last year. So a lot of the sacred information that would have been a part of like the early teachings in the mystery school, when I had no followers, I was teaching that stuff. When I had no followers, I was teaching on TikTok for 8 months before my first video went viral. So there's a lot of information out there for free. So some people be like, oh, why are you doing this? Why are you charging? Why do you feel like spiritual people have to be broke? 1 and 2, when you just study me and go to my history and my research, I'm teaching about stuff. Like, I remember my sister got me a session with one of the more, like world-renowned type of channelers. And the stuff she was talking about, I was like, I just made a video about that for free. And then she was charging hundreds of dollars for it. These people are charging upwards of hundreds of dollars for information that I'm giving to y'all for free. So just understand that. Black Star asks, do you do magic? I mean, everybody does magic. We just don't realize it, though. Now, the question truly is, do you do conscious magic? Because everybody does magic. Let's not get it twisted. A lot of the practices that we do is magic. A lot of the religions is magic based. A lot of things that we do right now is magic. But conscious magic, do I do conscious magic? I try not to. I have to create I've created portals before, and I've used paper, and it's not like no mystery or something that is like a fallacy. No, I literally figured on my own accord. I didn't watch a video like some people, and no. Like geniuses, it came to me, and I just applied it and see if it works. See, what people must understand about geniuses is to be a genius is to understand that there's no such thing as failure. See, what makes a genius is not just getting some information and that information was the right one just off the rip. No, that's not how geniuses work. When you speak to an actual genius, they say, yo, I had 100 ideas, right? 1 to 3 of them maybe worked. But out of those 100 ideas, I didn't see anyone that quote unquote failed as an actual failure. I seen it as a stepping stone to make sure the ones that eventually did work were secure enough in its foundations to work. That's what makes a genius. So I had paper and I was studying hieroglyphs and I was studying language of symbols. And I figured out when you use, this literally, when you use specific symbols because even words, letters are symbols. When you use specific symbols next to each other, they mean something. Well, when you do this a specific amount of times, something happens. I knew that fundamentally because I astral project. The number of times, like for example, I knew this from this. Take this. If you don't take anything else from this live and from today's sacred service, please, y'all, take this. If you want to figure out in the astral realms who you're speaking to, ask them their name 3 times. Because shape-shifting is a thing. A lot of people that think they're talking to Jesus, oh, beloved Jesus in the astral realms, you'll be surprised when you ask that person's name 3 times, it looks like a monstrous figure. Don't act like you're above being tricked. You get tricked on earth, so you're definitely going to get tricked with beings that are far superior in intelligence to you. So there's a fundamental power in 3. 33s. Remember, there's a fundamental power in the energy of 3. I can get into the esoteric meaning of it, and none of that matters right now. You don't need to know why, just know that's what it is. A lot of the times humans have to get out of this idea of asking why in a human way. You can ask why. It's okay to ask why, but don't ask why from a human perspective. Oh, I just want to know. I just want to know. I just want to know. That's a human way of thinking because when you are in the spirit realms, you're all knowing. So we don't ask why to know. It's about identity. So when you ask a being, a spirit, even your spirit guides, ask them their name 3 times. What is your name? They will say a fake name or a real name. What is your name? They'll say a fake name or a real name. What is your name? If you say it the 3rd time, if it's real, they'll continue to say that name. What will happen is they can't lie to you after the 3rd time. If they try to, I've literally seen this because this happened to me. before. Because I'm a Christ-conscious being. I work very close with Yeshua. And he's not the only Christ-conscious being. There's Krishna. There's Yogananda. There's many other beings. There's even Buddha. There's lots of beings. They're all of the same. Even Buddha consciousness is the same exact thing as Christ consciousness. It all moves as Source's will, A.K.A. God's will. But a being, because I communicate with Yeshua all the time. That's why some people be like I normalize Yeshua because he asked me to. He said, listen, the person, the character in the Christian religion of me, that's not who I am. Remember, Nadiie, I was born as a human. I had the same fears and pains as you. I just chose to forgive myself when I experienced them and continue on with my mission. Most people, they get dragged down and they have so much baggage that they don't continue with their mission. I say forgive and continue on. So I move with Yeshua constantly. And one day I astral projected and Yeshua came to me. But something was a little off about him. It looked just like Yeshua, the same Yeshua I've been speaking to for years. And he's like the only, I speak to Arcturians beings. I only bring up Yeshua. Like in my mystery school, I talk about all of I used to work for the Galactic Federation of Light. So there are many beings I speak to. I talk about that in the mystery school. But right now in the public platforms, most people identify with Jesus. So I speak to him. Okay, I do, but way more. But since y'all know him, I'll speak about that way more than the ones that y'all don't know about. Like the Galactic Federation of Light is a congregation of many beings. This being, it looked like Yeshua, the same one I've been talking to, it sound like him. But I said, something don't feel right. What is your name? Yeshua. What is your name? Yeshua. What is your name? Ah! I was like, yo! And it was right here. We're face to face because we're close. We're face to face talking. It started screaming. Like Yeshua's face, everything shed off of it. And then I seen it. But this figure, it wasn't an evil being. It was someone that wanted to talk to me. He said he'd been trying to get in contact with me for lifetimes. He said he'd been trying to get in contact with me for lifetimes. He said he just couldn't get in contact with me. He was like, he felt, and I was like, why did you lie about it though? And he was like, I'm sorry. I just felt like the only way I could do it was to... And it's logical. I mean, y'all, it makes sense. It do make sense. I need to learn how to start astral projecting. Yeah. Y'all, it do make sense. He was like, yo, Nadiie, let's keep it a buck. If I showed up as who I am, you would not care. Because of how I look. He looked like, y'all know the movie I Am Legend? Y'all know the movie I Am Legend? You know how like the beings of I Am Legend, how they were like gray looking? Like he kind of looked like that, but less scary. He looked a little more like normal in the face, a little more less vicious in the face, but he had that same type of build of the I Am Legend type of people. He had that same build. He kind of looked glossy, almost looked like Silver Surfer from Marvel. Kind of looked like that. He was like, Nadiie, if I came to you in this form and you're so busy, you would have just listened and then it would have just went out one ear out the other because you speak to so many beings. And I was like, that's pretty valid. I don't appreciate you lying though. So some beings, they're not like innately maleficent. They're not just evil. Everybody is not evil. That's what y'all must understand. Even if they lie, they're not evil. You must understand why they're doing something because they have a reason. And then when I talked to him, he had a very, very valid reason for trying to talk to me. Nadiie, you're another one of those type of beings. And we only get those type of, based off of good intentions. Yeah, terrible execution, horrible execution, but good intentions. He was like, Nadiie, you are one of those type of beings. And we only get one of those type of beings every so many eons. So because you came up from your high pedestal, came back down here for the umpteenth time, I felt like I only had a limited amount of moment to speak to you. And I was like, Okay, well, I mean, it's valid. So then he told me it was about his family and his life, and da, 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 da. I'm not going to go into that story because it's really not that important. Like, it's important because it's important to him. I'm not. If he's listening, yo, I'm not saying your whole life is just null and void, bro. I'm just saying that to these people, it's not important. So it's important for y'all to ask things their name 3 times. All right, so today was about the Epic of Earth. It's like a story of how to escape the issues that constantly repeat themselves. We have to remove ourselves from this idea of war, of pains, of separation. We have to remove this idea that we can't be together in unison. We have to come together as spirits, as the child of Source. That's how we get over all the issues that ancient times went through. Because just evolving doesn't mean anything. If you go into ancient tablets, there are beings that are far more superior, intelligent, flying, shape-shifting, body glowing, using energy, magic, using energy to move, birthing babies without the use of another person. There are so many beings that are doing so many things in these ancient times, yet the main issue that they all had was they still viewed each other as separate. So I need all of you to take this away as we conclude today's service. It doesn't matter what dimension you go to. It doesn't matter what miracle you present. It doesn't matter what religion you subscribe to or philosophy you retain. If you do not view yourself as a being of love to help others, to see themselves as a being of love, to then bring forth unification, you are going to kill yourself. That is what history tells us. Because every time we get to a point of evolution, our ego is equally right there and a war breaks out. And these wars shift the tectonic plates in the earth. And every time plates shift on the earth, giant cataclysms happen. Natural disasters are everywhere. And then the earth resets again for the umpteenth time. Let's stop this global reset again. Look around the world, everybody. There are wars everywhere. Look around the world, everybody. There are wars everywhere. Right now, we have to then say, okay, we are repeating the same things that they were doing in the ancient times of Anunnaki, ancient times of ancient Kemet, in Atlantis, and Lemuria. We can go on. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. They're trying to reshift our energy. Exactly. But the difference between today's age, the age of Aquarius, is we are now out of the imagination of another being. See, back then, they were in the imagination of a person masquerading as a god. Now we were in the imagination of Rockefeller and his camaraderie. Now we are getting out. Is the earth flat? There are many dimensions where the earth is a triangle, the earth is an octagon, the earth actually looks like this. People that astral project that go into different dimensions, they know this. There is a dimension where the earth is flat. There is a dimension where the earth is round. Don't get subscribed to just that, because actually, even if the earth was flat in this dimension, what does that have to do with what we're talking about right now? What does the earth being flat have to do with kids dying and being trafficked? What does the earth being flat have to do with etheric beings taking over the government? What does the earth being flat have to do with any of these things? What does the earth has to do? What does the earth being flat have to do with you finding yourself? Last time I checked, your lineage is in God, not earth. See, when we do memory regression on beings, and they be like, take me to my past lifetimes, I always ask, how far do you want to go? They say as far as possible. When you go far enough, you go back to God. See, there's a difference, Sikh. You say that people are hiding God. Nobody is hiding God from you, because you can literally talk to God right now. the only ones that's hiding God from you is yourself, for believing that they can have the ability to hide all there is from you. You're giving them far too much power. You are being brainwashed, Seek, for you to even utter that term. And not even just you, because even right now, like these next few sentences, Seek, I'm not even directing towards you. I'm directing to people that subscribe to that archetype of information. No one is able to hide God from you except you. Because if you say these people are able to hide the truth, then you have now placed them on the same power of God. Exactly. I am God. You are God. And you will understand that even if you go back in the furthest translations, the ancient translations of... Oh, no. I'm not misunderstanding you. See, I get it. I get what you're saying. Now I'm speaking to people that actually believe those sentiments. You have people, like when you go back to the ancient translations of religions, the word God was actually plural. It actually had S. People took out, they're trying to hide God. I see what you did there. See, hey, you're cooking right now. That trying word, you're cooking. You're cooking with that. But there's beings that wanted to hide, like the Catholic Church. They took out, even if the Catholic Church didn't take out the plural, they still knew what the truth is because they have the original Bibles and they're not correcting it. So it's the same as if they was taking it out. Because when I was about to say the Catholic Church is taking out the word S, God corrected me and said, no, they're not. They didn't. There was another group of people that took it out. Nadiie, don't send out misinformation. But what they're doing, what the Catholic Church is doing, is they're still subscribing to the false narratives. So even though the Catholic Church wasn't the first people to take out the word S, the letter S from the word God, they still know what the truth is. They still know it was God's with a plural, and they're still giving people the fake version of the Bible. That's just as bad as taking it out. So what we understand is the word God is a title. It's a title, like the word Satan. It's a title. It's a title. So you could be a God and you could be a Satan. It's a title. It's a frequency. It's not a thing. Exactly. There is something called the source. And I first, because I'm not gonna fake the fun. No, God is a title. It's not a false God. There's no such thing as a false God. There's no such thing as a false God. It's a title. You either are it or you're not it. You can't be a fake version of it. That's not how the universe works. It either is or is not. That's thoughts on the Sumerian text, Emerald Tablets, Epic of Gilgamesh, Enoch. Just me saying those names is enough. Lowercase g. Just me saying those names is enough. Yes, they definitely are lowercase g. Thoughts on the Sumerian text. Only thing we'll talk about right there, Seek, is the Emerald Tablets. Listen, y'all. Thoth has something going on. And there's no coincidence that Thoth says very similar things to what Jesus said in today's time. It's no coincidence. Thoth, yes, or Thoth. Remember, this being was a being that embodied the etheric realm. Thoth is a being that embodied the etheric realm. The word thought comes from Thoth. Because you can also verbalize it as Thoth or Thoth. Either version. The word thought derives from Thoth. Thought and the ethers. And this is something, if you go into the 1900s, this is what I'm teaching right now is not esoteric information. Exactly. Amen comes from Amen Ra. Yes, you're on it. See, you know the truth. See, you're another great co-host. What I'm teaching right now is not esoteric information. If you go back in the 1900s, they told you all this stuff. Everybody from the 1900s that was in school, that was teaching about, that was knowing about 1920, 1940, exactly, the 1920s to the 1940s and before, they all knew that the ethers is the thought form realm. So the reason why Thoth is so powerful and so well respected is he never said he was a god. He said, I'm the son of Atlantis. It's very similar to Yeshua saying, I am the Son of Man. He speaks in parables. The way he operates is, I want to be of assistance. You don't see Thoth being in giant wars and all of that craziness. You see Thoth being a great person that made the Emerald Tablets, that built up some civilizations, and then booked and boogied. You don't hear a bad thing about Thoth. Because when you live a life of love, when you are in control of your thoughts, because Thoth was in control of his mind. Much deeper than just what monks are. Monks, they silence their mind. Thoth knew the inner machinations of how thought is even born. Because what y'all must understand is, anything that you think, you create a reality where it exists. Thoth was so good at this, because Thoth is also a title. That's not his actual name. That's also a title. To be a Thoth, nobody on earth is a Thoth. Let's just get that out the way. Because you can't be Thoth and still be in a physical body. Yes, Thoth was able to incarnate in physical bodies, but remember, he said he went to the halls of Amenti and he chose the vessel that he wanted to go in. So the vessels in the halls of Amenti that Thoth was going into was not, normal human bodies. There were modified bodies that could handle his entire etheric presence. They're not normal human bodies. They look enough like humans. That's what Thoth was saying. They look enough like humans so he can pass as a human. So if you was to see Thoth today, he will look like a human. You may say something a little different about him, but he's still a human. Not like different, like his eye all the way down. Now it doesn't look like he looked like Uncle Ruckus. No. He looked just like a human. But it's just a different presence about him. Like, he don't move like it. He's moving like he just lived on a different planet. Like he just walk in front of cars. Like you just disregard everything. Like it's like he walking like he can move through a building. Why are you moving with such strength? Something different about bro over there. If you was to drive in the car and you see Thoth just walk. It's a different type of charisma. It's like, who is that? Same thing with Jesus, A.K.A. Yeshua. If y'all was to see him today, different. Look just like a human, different. So that's what I'll speak about in terms of what you spoke of. I'll only talk about the Emerald Tablets, because right now we need to be more like a Thoth, like a Yeshua, like a Buddha, like a being of love. We need to be more like that. That's what we're talking about. So, remember, everything. Jesus studied the mystery schools. Exactly. Even the Dalai Lama recently put out a statement where, yes, we have records, actual recordings of Yeshua coming here to learn. Now, what you must also understand is there's many energetic signatures within all people. Start focusing on these energetic signatures. Start getting away from names and titles and descriptions of things. Get away from names, titles, and descriptions. We even teach this in the 3-day course. So if you're really interested, when y'all DM me that 33, I'll give you the free 3-day course for you to join the mystery school. You'll click the link in the bio. You'll join the mystery school after you complete the 3-day course. We talk about removing descriptions. When you start looking in this perspective, you will figure out what the truth is. Today was about the epic of Earth. How to get past all the pains and issues that ancient times experienced, so we don't repeat them same cycle. So what we're going to do, everybody, is we're going to, like in our normal fashion, we're going to conclude with our ancient prayer, and then this live will be posted, if not today, then tomorrow. It will be posted on our YouTube page. Click the link in our bio. Click Nadiie Black's Guidance. You'll go to our YouTube page. Remember, do you believe in getting readings? I have gotten them before. There's nothing wrong with getting readings. But I don't subscribe to constantly getting a reading. What I subscribe to is finding someone that can give you an ultimate reading for you to hold and change your life. What time tomorrow? I'm not going live tomorrow. I'm posting this video on our YouTube page. So if you've missed it, by tomorrow it'll be posted. Maybe later on today, but by tomorrow. I want to get my first one. If you want to book a session with me, anybody that wants to book a session with me, click the link in the bio. This is the very first link. You will see book a session, because the link in my bio is a link tree. You click the link on my TikTok page, a link tree pulls up. The very first one literally says book a session, and it would guide you on what to do. You can book a session with me. If you want to join the mystery school, you can click that same link. It'll take you there, but DM me first, and I'll give you our 3-day course. Make sure you DM me 33 so I know you are in seek of the 3-day course for free. To watch all of our lives that you've missed, or this one, if you missed a little bit of it, click the link in our bio, click Nadiie Black's guidance. To listen to our music. Remember, I don't just make airy-fairy music. The music that people listen to, when they listen to me, they say, yo, why aren't you famous? I'm telling you, better than all the legends. But I've been offered, and you know, some people be like, you know, that's not might just because artists, they love their music. No, I've been offered many record deals that offered a lot of money. I wish I had the knowingness at the time to know about the legalities of everything so I can show y'all. But I've offered, Atlanta Records, even Tidal wanted to sign me to some stuff. I've been offered many record deals because they knew I could have been, and if I was to sign, I'll be as famous as your Kendricks and stuff like that. But I still can be. But what I had an issue. I was in a crossroads. God or this path. I was in a crossroads. And I said, I'll do both. And then you had some beings that wanted to sign me because they come. They come. I already said stories about this, you know, me getting targeted and stuff by these spiritual beings. They come, and they come as a group, and they all wear the same color. And when you see them, they follow you. Y'all can drive. They follow you because they walk through portals. And they wanted to sign me. And I said I wanted to do both. I wanted to talk about God, the truth, source of all things, and be in the music industry, and be one of the most greatest legends that anybody has ever listened to. And they said, you can't. And I said, because you said I can't, I'm gonna prove to you I can. And I'm gonna prove to all that I can. So yeah. So when you listen to my music, just click the link in my bio, click Nadiie Black's guidance to listen to, you know, the teachings, but you have Nadiie Black's music page. If you click Nadiie Black's music page, you can see my videos. All of y'all click Nadiie Black's music page after this and watch my video titled GPS. It's a music video that's I love that video. I love it. And then you can click the link in my bio to see the Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. All my music is out on all streaming platforms. Just type in Nadiie Black, N-A-D-I-I-E Black. Then you'll be able to listen to all my music. In the beginning, my very first albums, before I was diving deep into spiritual stuff, I was, using profanity. I was really of that ilk. But then I started having evolution, so you'll see a progression in my albums of my consciousness, and it's beautiful. So yeah, all of that is all important, because just how there's people that want to listen to hour-long formats, there's some people that just want to listen to music. So if I can figure out how to hide the medicine in the candy, which I did, listen to the music and you'll get the same level of awakening. So everybody, on the count of three, who were they? Can you tell us? Yeah, they're the same beings that were chasing Martin when he was running in the street saying they're trying to kill me. That's what we'll say. So everybody on the count of three, take one deep breath. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. Release. Peace unto you. My name is Nadiie. I am of Siksika. That means Blackfoot. I am a medicine man, one of the youngest medicine men that has been initiated in, Native culture. I was initiated at the age of 7, and I'm very grateful to be of this frequency for all of you. I have a mudra that me and alongside of many other Christ conscious beings we came forth to bring to all of you is 33. It's this mudra. So bring up the 33 like this. You bring it together, and your pinky and your thumb are together. So when you start to invoke the frequency of 33, this mudra, you're invoking source. Then when you finally invoke it, this is Christ consciousness, A.K.A. source's will. So it's source's will. When you put it together, that means oneness. And when you have your pinky and your thumb together, it looks like an infinity sign, right? Infinity. So it's God, Christ consciousness, oneness for eternity. This is the mudra. Here we begin. A.K.A. Pistatuki Ispamokanan. Na Kaitsisinan. Na Keiki Mutsisanan. Na Kokamotosanan. Nina. Nakista. Nah6. Tokana na Pistatuki. Na Kaikaki Masanan. Ikanapi Nistoapi. Akanisto. Thank you, Source, for being with us and guiding us to that which is love. We're very grateful to bring forth this epic for all beings, etheric, physical, and even light-based, to understand this remembrance of all there is within us. No need for wars, no need for pains, no need for hurts. Only love shall be presented in our todays, our tomorrows, and even our yesterdays. For we have the power to shape the past, the present, and the future. For we live in this now. Only the now matters. And the now is where the power is. We're very grateful for this remembrance. And by our names in unison, we know that Earth and all the inhabitants of it and neighboring dimensions and parallel realms are not going to make the same mistakes as our brothers and sisters once did. Today, moving forward, we anchor that which is love so we can go back home. By my name, I affirm this. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. May I get and so it is in the chat. May I get and so it is in the chat. May I get and so it is in the chat. By my name, yes. Make sure y'all say that. By my name, that's affirming your spiritual rank. Stop saying amen all the time. Say, by my name, I affirm this. Because I am the child of God. And if I will it, then God wills it. Because if it wasn't real, I wouldn't have willed it. God put everything in me. God put everything in you that is truth. So if you will it, it is so. Thank you. I love you all. This will be posted a little later today. By the latest tomorrow, this live. On my YouTube page, click the link in my bio, click Nadiie Black's Guidance, DM me 33 if you want to get that free 3-day course to join our mystery school. After you completed the 3-day course, join the mystery school. For everybody that is already in the mystery school, if you are in the free tier, go into that transcending tier. It literally costs more to buy a king-size Twix bar to join the transcending tier. So join that, and we will go live. Once I see enough people have converted over so we can actually have a classroom setting, then I will go live and I'll take you all around my life and I'll show you some very sacred things. Peace, y'all.